Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your 2023 D.I.C.E Hall of Fame recipient, the man, the myth, the Tim of legend, Tim Schafer. When I heard Tim was being presented with this award, my first thought was honestly, doesn't he have this already? Because he should. It's impossible to overstate the impact Tim has had on this industry. Like many of you, I grew up playing Tim's masterpieces from LucasArts. The games he worked on there had a caliber of writing, voice acting, and artistry that was unmatched. And he helped create and define the entire genre of adventure games. Now, that would have been enough for most, but Tim didn't rest there, and he went off on his own adventures, founding Double Fine Productions on the core principles of creativity and craft. I somehow found myself lucky enough to have the pleasure of spending a decade at Double Fine, and it granted me a peek behind the curtains to where I can confirm that Tim is not only a creative genius, but he's 100% the kind, caring, and thoughtful leader that you all hope he is. The thing I admire about Tim and his work at Double Fine is not just the incredible games that they've made together, but it's the way that they go about it. Tim and everybody at Double Fine genuinely care about each other. It's a highly collaborative environment that understands good ideas can come from anywhere, and everyone is really encouraged to think outside the box. So this is evident in the company's Amnesia Fortnite Game Jam, where for 2 weeks, the company sets aside everything it's working on and mixes things up, allowing everybody to try out a new trade or pitch a game idea of their own. Some of the company's best games have started with this process and exist because of Tim letting others take the lead and helping to cultivate their talent. Tim's focus on creativity and experimentation also extends to how Double Fine games are marketed and even how the company does business. I remember clearly the D.I.C.E 11 years ago, where we launched the world record-breaking Double Fine Adventure Kickstarter campaign that helped legitimize a whole new way to finance indie games. This project and the development and the supporting Double Fine documentary helped really further the deep connection that he had with his community and granted an entire new generation of developers an unprecedented look at the video game development process, so others could be learning and inspired. And with Double Fine Presents and Day of the Devs, Tim has shown a commitment to the wider game development community and shining a spotlight on other people making great games and helping foster a connection to their communities. Now, that's not to say Double Fine hasn't had its share of challenges, some of which have been very publicly documented, but through it all, Tim was able to keep things positive, be a rock for the studio, and most importantly, always put the well-being of his employees and their families first. It truly does feel like a family at Double Fine, and as impressive as their games are, I'd say the people who have come up under Tim and the talent that he's cultivated in them are equally impressive. People like Lee Petty of Stacking, Headlander, and Rad fame, yeah, and many other impeccably talented creatives that are working inside those walls to create the next great wave of Double Fine games. And then there are the former Double Fine employees who are lead creatives and executives at Google, Meta, Valve, Epic, Pixar, Microsoft, PlayStation, and more. That's right, Tim has infiltrated all of your businesses with people who lead with creativity and passion. And yes, there is a code word that he will say at some point that makes us all Voltron up and do his biddings. But until that happens, I am so glad to see Tim so happy. Psychonauts 2 was a masterpiece, and the future is very bright. Yes. I'm really happy to see them with the support of Xbox, allowing Double Fine to let their creativity loose. So please join me in honoring Tim and taking a look at his incredible career.
Tim Schafer has been many things to the world of video games: an adventurer, a comic, a writer, a boss, an employee, and a tour guide at Skywalker Ranch. But most importantly, a force of creativity in games. High school Tim had a variety of interests, ranging from maintaining his badass garage band cred to being a secret computer club member. But the thing that would start his passion in video games was the day his dad brought home a brand spanking new Magnavox Odyssey. Attending UC Berkeley for computer science, Tim really wasn't sure what he was going to do after graduation. When offered exciting opportunities to pursue a career in either lab testing, database maintenance, or writing hilarious adventure games, he chose the one that fit best: database maintenance. Luckily for the video game industry, Tim saw a job posting at Lucasfilm Games for a programmer who could also write dialogue. So of course, he nearly destroyed it all in his interview with David Fox. As only a confident 20-year-old could, Tim proudly, but ignorantly, proclaimed his fandom to the game Ball Blaster, the pirated version of LucasArts Ball Blazer. For this second impression, Tim was out to impress. On his job application, he added a little adventure game he wrote and printed. Tim was hired on and was introduced to fellow game tester Dave Grossman. Eventually, the pair was recruited by Ron Gilbert to work on his new project, The Secret of Monkey Island, where they would add much of the humor and character that made fans adore the game. With some success behind them, Tim and Dave were made co-leads on another successful production, Day of the Tentacle. Tim was next tasked with directing a game of his very own, so he did what anyone would do, and made a hard-hitting dystopian heavy metal biker adventure game. Full Throttle launched in 1995, and gamers loved it. Tim soon followed Full Throttle with a fantastic underworld concept, Grim Fandango, launching in 1998, which would go on to win multiple Game of the Year awards. With the winds of success filling his sails, it was time to set his eyes on a golden new horizon. The year was 2000. Y2K didn't happen. Tim created a game company called Double Fine with a handful of folks from LucasArts and a second handful of new folks. Their first project was to be the smash hit Psychonauts. In 2009, Brutal Legend was unleashed upon the metal-loving gamers of the world, complete with Jack Black, hard rock, and of course, flamethrowers. Perhaps one of Tim's most inventive inventions was not a video game, but a tradition called Amnesia Fortnite. A 2-week-long pitch-a-thon, where for the mere price of a cup of coffee in 1967, anyone could vote for their favorite concept. Many of the prototypes went on to become beloved titles, like Costume Quest, Iron Brigade, Stacking, and Once Upon a Monster. In that same pioneering spirit, Tim managed to set a crowdfunding world record, raising $3 million to make Broken Age. But more importantly, success of this magnitude paved the way for future successes, both for Double Fine and the rest of the industry. After over 20 years as an independent studio, a milestone few studios reach, Double Fine and Tim joined Microsoft in 2019 and were reunited with many friends and colleagues in the industry where an unannounced Grim Fandango Master Chief crossover is currently in production. Tim and Double Fine continue to be ambassadors for independent development, creating indie celebrations like the decade-long run of Day of the Devs. Tim continues to be one of the most dedicated creators in our industry. His contributions define trends and shape the future. He has become a true conduit for creativity and innovation in our craft. For his achievements, for taking us on adventures, making us laugh, and for his continued passion for the art of video games, tonight we honor Tim Schafer as the 2023 inductee to the AIAS Hall of Fame. Please welcome Tim Schafer.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do I take this down? Oh, thank you. Oh, no. Please. Please, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Greg. Please remain standing. I mean, if I have to stand up. It feels much better. It really helps. No, okay, you can sit down. I was going to say, thank you. I love you, too. I'll make this quick, but it really is a great time to use the restroom. If, like, before Game of the Year, this is an awesome time because I'll talk that video. But I want to thank Greg for that beautiful talk. That was amazing. The journey up to here has been fraught with a lot of near-death financial experiences, and Greg has definitely helped us survive a lot of those. So thank you, Greg. Get the first one. I plan to talk really eloquently, but now I feel like I just sit here and catch my breath for 4 minutes together while we're all quiet. Thank you so much for all of you, all my colleagues. I've been coming to D.I.C.E and other shows for so many years, seeing you all, so many friends and supporters here, and also it's so nice to see my long list of enemies and haters. I'm so glad that you're here to see my ultimate victory over you. Thank you. As represented by this beautiful trophy representing the Vulcan lacrosse team. Thank you so much. Really quick thanks. I'm gonna start at the very beginning. I gotta thank my parents. It's corny. We're here. Whatever. It's fun. My mom, my dad, my mom for setting up a craft table in our family room, because every day we were just invited to make up stuff, and there's a table that was just covered with like glue and pom-pom balls and like paper, and we were just invited to think that every day could be a creative day, and that's really important, something that kept with me all my life. So thanks to my mom for that, and thank you. And to my dad for all the many things he did, but of course bringing home that Magnavox Odyssey and getting me obsessed. Driving me down to Mill Valley to the computer store to buy video games in Ziploc baggies. So many supportive things he did to get me excited about, and accepting that I would never become a doctor, but do this instead. Real quick, my 7th grade English professor, Mr. Harrington, he's not professor, 7th grade, what am I talking about? For teaching me free writing, which is something I do where you just write every day and you don't think about it. I still do it to this day. I mean, I think about doing it every day. I don't have the patience and discipline to do it every day, but I think about you and Mr. Harrington every day. And my creative writing teacher from high school, Ms. Adams, who encouraged me, said you really need to write more. And I was thinking about that, and recently I realized that she's saying I need to practice more, which maybe it wasn't. Anyway, I did it, so thanks, Ms. Adams. Thanks to UC Santa Cruz and UC Berkeley for, go Bear Slugs. For being fucking free. People don't know this. Back then, UC had no tuition. So I want to thank the taxpayers of California for paying for my college, right? Yeah. Which brought me to the Career Center, where I saw a job listing from LucasArts for programmers who like creative writing. It's perfect, amazing job, and I landed at LucasArts to be mentored by people like David Fox, and thanks for hiring me, David Fox, even though I totally pirated all your games, and it's even worse than that, but whatever. David Fox, Ron Gilbert, Noah Falstein, and Hal Barwood, who taught me so much about writing and creativity, and to imagine being dropped into this amazing job where they're like, well, we have all this money from Star Wars, we don't know what to do with it because we can't make Star Wars games, we just have to make a bunch of shit up and we don't know what to do. So it's like, wow, that's a fun job. And it got me addicted to making up cool new stuff with other people's money all my life. So just definitely do that. Hey, look at us. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. So, and to those next projects, people often ask me, do you have any regrets in your career? And I always I don't, because I got to make all of the games I like, and I'm really happy, and I feel really lucky and privileged to be making all the games. But I do have some regrets. I pretend I've learned nothing, but I have learned some things over this career, and I do regret, if anything, those next few projects, Full Throttle and Grim Fandango and Psychonauts, I regret the terrible crunch modes I put those teams through. So I want to apologize to all the teams of my early games for the terrible crunch modes I put them through, because I didn't mean it, but a lot of us in those days were just kind of acting the way we did in college, which is staying up all night in computer labs to finish our software projects. And we dragged a lot of people through some terrible, it has a big effect. Crunch mode has a terrible effect on your mental health and your relationships and all these things. And hopefully we learn each time, we do better. And I'm just so lucky that I made all those mistakes back before accountability had been invented, right? I'm seriously so lucky that all the teams that gave me a second chance, all those second chances to get a little better with every game, and to fight that. We're still fighting in this industry, fighting crunch mode all the time. It's not a good thing, but it's hard, because anyway, it's a whole, we'll talk about that next time. And thanks. And I want to thank the Xbox for being launched right when I launched my company and making it so easy to sign Psychonauts and start that crazy 20-year relationship with Microsoft, on again, off again, that ended with us being part of the Xbox family. So I want to thank Noah Musler at our table, and Mary McGuane, and Matt Booty, and Phil Spencer for seeing value in Double Fine and bringing us into that really nice space, and letting us just stay as weird as we are. It's been a few years now, and they've really been true to their word and let us stay Double Fine, even though we were part of that family. So thank you to them. And thank you most of all to the Double Fine employees and the team there. It's amazing. I feel so amazed I get to work with such a creative group who put so much love into the game, so much talent, but also so much care for each other, and they really support each other and look out for each other, and it makes working with them so rewarding. And I want to thank all our fans and players. We have the sweetest, most supportive community, and have all our times, and nothing would have been possible without them. I want to thank my lovely family, my daughter Lily and my wife Rachel, for staying with me through all the crunches and cancellations all these years, and for no matter what, always being there to remind me that I'm really not a big deal and I should get over myself. So thank you for that. And then that and that. This is how every meeting ends at Double Fine, by the way. It's like, what'd I forget? Okay, so thanks to them, the Xbox players, fans. And I want to take 1 second before I leave, really quick, to thank Megan Scavio, because she's sitting at our table. Hi. Partially because it'll make her really uncomfortable for everyone to look at her over in table 44. And there's so much that, like, at D.I.C.E. in her previous job, Megan has done to bring us together, not just as professionals, but as human beings, to get to know each other all these years, which makes it so much more bearable. So thank you, Megan, for all the work you do and bringing us together as a community. So thank you, Megan. Thanks to the AIAS. Thank you, D.I.C.E. Thank you, all of you. It's a great honor. Good night. Thanks.